You're the night janitor at the world's most powerful stock exchange, and you read the trash they throw away. This is you. 3 in the morning, alone on the trading floor of the most powerful exchange on Earth, a mop in one hand and a fortune in the other. The screens are dark now, the billionaires gone home, the floor that screamed with money all day silent as a church. But the trash cans are full. The shredder bins are full. The sticky notes are still stuck to the monitors. And you, the invisible man in the gray uniform that everyone steps around without seeing, have learned that the richest people in the world throw away the one thing they should burn, the truth about what they're going to do tomorrow. Welcome to the night shift, where the garbage is gold and the only man reading it pushes a broom. Rewind. You needed a job with no questions, and a cleaning contract at the exchange asked none. Background check, sure, but they're checking whether you'll steal a laptop, not whether you can read a balance sheet. And you can. You used to be somebody in finance, before it chewed you up and spat you out, before the blacklist, before the long fall to a mop. The men on that floor would never recognize you. Your furniture now, the help, a uniform that empties the bins, but your eye still works. The first week, picking a crumpled note out of a trash can, you read a name, and a number, and a date, and your old broken brain lit up like the floor at the opening bell, because you knew exactly what it meant. You learned the rules that night. Rule 1, the most powerful people in the world are sloppy, because they've never once imagined the cleaner can read. Rule 2, the floor is wired tight for outsiders, but the man already inside at 3 a.m. with a master key is the one threat nobody designed for. Rule 3, the one that rings like a closing bell. They think they're throwing away garbage. They're throwing away tomorrow, and you're the only one who picks it up. Stage 1. You start reading. Just reading, at first. Shredder bins not quite shredded. Printouts left on desks. The whiteboard in the glass conference room nobody bothered to wipe, because who's going to see it at midnight? You piece together the fragments. A merger before it's announced. An earnings number before it's released. A fund about to dump a stock before the world knows. Insider gold. Scattered like litter. Because to them, it's already old news the second they've decided. And you realize the floor doesn't run on the news everyone gets at 9:30 a.m. It runs on the decisions made the night before, in the trash you're holding. The lesson clicks like a turnstile. The rich don't guard their secrets. They guard their valuables, and they never notice the secret was worth more. Stage 2. Reading is worthless without acting, and acting without getting caught is the whole game. You can't trade in your own name, the blacklist, the obviousness, so you build a maze. A cousin's account, a shell, a friend who owes you, small positions spread thin, so no single trade screams. You never swing big enough to trip an alarm, never trade the obvious headline, just ride the quiet certainties you pull out of the bins, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, compounding in the dark. You're not a trader. You're a man who already knows the answer to tomorrow's test, filling in just enough blanks to never get flagged for a perfect score. The lesson seats itself cold. The way to steal a fortune in plain sight is to never once take enough to be worth catching. Stage 3. A new head of floor security gets thorough. He starts noticing the cleaning crew lingers, tightens the after-hours logs, talks about cameras in the trash rooms, about shredding everything on site, about a man who's been on the night shift suspiciously long for a job people quit in months. He could end you, so you don't fight him. You make yourself his best informant. You discover and report a real breach. A junior trader leaving genuinely sensitive documents out. A sloppy outside contractor. A small leak you can sacrifice. Suddenly you're the vigilant nightman who caught a security risk. The loyal cleaner who actually cares about the floor's secrets. He stops watching you and starts thanking you. Even leans on you to be his eyes after dark. You turn the man hunting you into the man who trusts you with the keys. And the lesson racks up. The safest place to hide a thief is in the job of catching thieves. Stage 4. Now you stop trading the trash and start selling it. Because you've realized your own careful little trades are pennies next to what the information itself is worth to the right buyer. A hedge fund would pay a fortune for a day's warning on a merger. A short seller would empty his account for advance word on a collapse. So you go quiet and you go wholesale. You become an anonymous source, a voice on a burner, the man who sells tomorrow's news to people rich enough to bet the world on it, and smart enough never to ask where it came from. You never hold the position. You sell the certainty and let the sharks swim. And you etch the rule into the dark floor. Don't bet the secret yourself. Sell it to the men who can move billions and take a cut of the ocean. Stage 5. You climb past the floor into the firms themselves. Because you're not just cleaning one exchange. Your company has the contracts for half the towers in the financial district, the banks, the funds, the law firms that paper the deals. So you get your network the right uniforms, and suddenly you're reading the trash of every major player in the market, the whole nervous system of money laid out for you in shredder bins and forgotten printouts across the whole district. You're not a janitor with a lucky bin anymore. You're the spy master of an invisible army of cleaners, holding the secret intentions of every powerful institution in the financial world before any of them go public. And the lesson lands like a market-moving rumor. The most powerful information network in the world is the one everybody empties their secrets into and nobody thinks to watch. Stage 6. There's a weakness. You're one man whose face, if ever connected to a trade, ends everything. So you bury yourself deeper in plain sight. You build layers between you and every dollar. Funds run by people who've never met you. Partners who think they're dealing with a mysterious financier, and not the guy who waxes their lobby. A structure so deep that the money has no path back to the broom. You become a ghost with a fortune, a man worth more than half the traders on the floor, who still clocks in at midnight in a gray uniform because the uniform is the perfect, permanent disguise. And the rule goes in like a locked turnstile. The best place to hide a king is in the one job no one believes a king would ever take. One night you lean on your mop in the middle of the silent floor, the city's money sleeping all around you, and you understand you've made it. This is the peak. There is not a merger, a collapse, an earnings shock, a market-moving secret in this whole financial capital that you don't read before the men who decided it have finished their dinner. The titans who own the towers depend, without knowing it, on the discretion of the nobody who empties their bins. You came up a broken man the industry threw in the trash, and you turned the trash itself into the greatest information empire in the market. You learned what every billionaire on that floor never will. They thought the power was in making the decision, but the power was in the garbage, and they handed it to the help every single night. Here's where it unravels, and it unravels from you. Because a man who's read everyone's secrets for so long starts to believe his own can never be read, and that's the exact man who stops emptying his own bins. You get arrogant. You stop pushing the mop yourself, stop keeping your trade small, stop assuming anyone on your own crew could be doing to you exactly what you do to the floor. You keep a record. Every source, every shell, every trade, every secret you ever pulled from the dark, because you've stopped seeing it as a confession and started seeing it as the trophy of the man who beat the whole market with a broom. You spent your whole life knowing the truth is in the trash and forgot you'd been generating trash of your own. The man who reads everyone's garbage always forgets to shred his own. The fall comes from the apprentice. The sharp young cleaner you recruited because he had the same hungry, ruined eye you once had, the one you taught to read a shredder bin like a balance sheet. He learned the routes, the shells, the art of the small invisible trade. What he learned best was your own first lesson, that the secret is always worth more than the man holding it, and that the man holding it is just one more bin to read. He found your record, and he's gone to the regulators with the deal. The janitor has been running the biggest insider operation in market history, but I have all his sources, and I'll hand him over for immunity and a clean slate. He doesn't have to unwind your whole empire, he just has to hand them the one record that connects the broom to the billions. Every cleaner you teach to read the trash eventually reads yours. So now it's tonight. The climax. You're alone on the floor on a shift you didn't take. Because he called in, and the schedule shuffled, and that should have told you everything. Your phone buzzes with an alert from one of your own shells, a position liquidating that you didn't order, your structure unwinding in the dark, money you can no longer reach. Then a text. From him, calm, the way you taught him. He has the record. He's already made copies. Of course he has. You taught him that too. And he lays out the only two trades left in a market you thought you owned. Two choices, and the market doesn't care which. Door 1, you liquidate. You hand him the network, the shells, the sources, the whole invisible empire, and you walk out the service entrance one last time, a free man and a finished one. A janitor who will spend the rest of his life actually cleaning floors, knowing the greatest information machine ever built still hums in the trash you taught a stranger to read. You live. You just stop being the ghost. Door 2, you don't liquidate. You've got one piece he doesn't know about. A single secret about the most powerful institution on the floor. The kind that doesn't ruin a trader, but crashes a market and brings every regulator and titan down at once. The kind that comes with a body count of fortunes. You go to war with the boy you made and the regulators he's dealing with, in a market whose every secret you taught yourself to read, and you find out whether the man who beat the floor from the trash can survive being read. Maybe you take the whole empire back. Maybe you learn that the market in the end always corrects, even for the man who thought he'd cornered the dark. The liquidation or the last secret. The mop or the market crash. Your shells are unwinding one by one in the dark, your fortune draining into someone else's account, and a man you taught is sitting in a room somewhere with all your garbage spread out like a winning hand. You make the call. That's a wrap for today. I'll be dropping more stories like this soon. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.